It's the Weather Xtreme video. This is the morning edition for Thursday, October 6th. I'm James Spann. Alabama's drought conditions worsen, and all eyes are on Hurricane Matthew. Those are clearly the two big stories to discuss. There's the water vapor satellite view. Big cold trough in the western U.S. Down here, a dry air mass. Pretty pleasant this morning. Afternoons are warm, but nights feel pretty good. It's 59 at Haleyville and Gadsden to start the day. Birmingham 66 will be up in the middle 80s again today. Around the nation, a lot of frost and freeze warnings in effect. The growing season is ending up north for Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, North Dakota, Montana. Of course, down in Florida, hurricane warnings in effect on the Atlantic coast with Matthew getting close. Hey, some active convection later today and tonight for the heartland and that battle zone between this warm air we have and the cold air back in the western states. But tomorrow, no organized severe weather expected. And concerning the tornado threat with Matthew, the main threat will be offshore for tornadoes there. Rain, nope. Just not happening here. Drought conditions will worsen. This is the rain for the next 7 days. And again, water conservation measures are needed. Be very careful with any outdoor burning. We have so many wildfires, and prospects for rain are just not good, really beyond 7 days. This is the driest month of the year, and sure enough, October's living up to that standard with this. This is the rain expected with Matthew, and the really big numbers are offshore on the east side of the circulation center. The inland gradient very, very tight. Around Cape Canaveral and Titusville, you might wind up with a foot, but then you go over to Orlando, and they might wind up with 2 inches. And you go to Tampa Bay, and they wind up with 1/2 inch or less. And tropics, obviously, the big topic. So here we go. First off, a little wave approaching the Windward Islands, not expected to develop anytime soon. Then you got Nicole and Matthew. Nicole is a tropical storm that is between Puerto Rico and Bermuda, and this thing's just going to stay there for the next 5 days and really go nowhere. And there's a chance it might be pulled westward next week if it survives, but in the short term, no threat to land. Matthew, this thing's very dangerous, obviously very well publicized. Top winds 125 miles an hour, Category 3, moving northwest at 12, just battering the Bahamas big time. It is not a pretty sight for those islands. Look at modeling. These are tropical models, and the consensus is clearly there on the loop off the South Atlantic coast of the United States. It runs the coast, turns right off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, and then bends back to the south. You can see it better in the GFS ensemble. And again, the blue line, that is the OZ deterministic run, takes it back into South Florida next week. Is a much weaker system, and then skirts the Yucatan, then goes down the Bay of Campeche. Goodness. Wonder if this thing will be around next year. Of course, beyond 5 days, there's no skill in forecasting placement and intensity of a tropical cyclone. Could it get down in the Bay of Campeche and re-strengthen? The possibility's on the board, but again, we just don't know if it even survives that. But again, the idea is the fact that it will be much, much weaker when it comes back. We'll have all this upwelling, and it'll be a different set of circumstances. But again, that's the last thing you really want if they do have a lot of damage and they're trying to clean up from that. This is the intensity guidance, and you can see that it will be a slow process, but this will weaken, and it should be a tropical storm in 5 days. The GFS, Friday morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, has the circulation center, again, near Titusville, Florida. And this is just not good for our friends at Cape Canaveral and NASA. This is just the last thing you want to see. And the Europeans, even worse for Cape Canaveral, Friday morning at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's a little farther inland. And remember that the nasty side of this thing is going to be that east side. And if it's that far inland, and again, the difference in 10, 15, 20 miles is going to make a huge difference in the impact. But if this is the case, that's a bad setup there for Melbourne and the Cape and Titusville and maybe Daytona. That is a bad look right there. But remember, the better side is on the west side. That's where the impact, certainly they'll get wind and rain, but nothing like that nasty east side. And there's your track from the Hurricane Center. They've got it running the coast during the day Friday. And again, that's got the loop scenario in play here. Take a look at the hurricane force wind speed probabilities. And obviously, they're highest right on the coast. And again, for those that are discussing inland cities, and the biggest place, obviously, is Orlando and Disney World. No doubt, tomorrow is going to be a nasty day with wind and rain. It could be enough wind to knock down a few trees in Orlando, and it's going to be a day, if you're there, just to stay indoors. They don't evacuate Orlando. It's inland. The one thing you don't want to be in is a mobile home. That's the biggest problem for Florida, and there's a lot of mobile homes in Florida. But for people at Disney World, just stay inside the resorts or hotel, whatever. Relax, and then this thing will be long gone for the weekend. But I would not want to be driving tomorrow in this. And different people have different tolerance levels for driving, but this is just not a day you want to be driving around tomorrow. You want to be inside somewhere, safe and sound, and then get out, and the weekend will be fine. All right, model fans, here's the GFS. This is the 06E run, valid today at 1 o'clock, trough in the west. Down here, same old story, mostly sunny. The NAM and the GFS are at 86. Matthew today in the vicinity of the Bahamas, getting awfully close to Miami. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern, the thing is near Daytona Beach on the journey up the coast. Again, it's going to be a very rough night tonight and a rough day tomorrow on the immediate Florida Atlantic coast, needless to say. But for us, we're dry, warm and dry, same thing, mid-80s tomorrow. Saturday, the GFS brings it up pretty close to Charleston. It's a weaker system, but still, that's going to create some pretty big impact for the coast of South Carolina. Around here, no change in our weather, mostly sunny with mid-80s. Sunday, the system weakens and begins the loop. For us, Sunday will be a dry day. And again, we can't promise a big cool shot like we thought earlier this week because this thing's not running up to New England. The high will drop to about 80 on Sunday. Sunday morning will be maybe in the upper 40s in many spots. It'll feel good. No rain. Monday, Matthew is coming back toward the coast of Florida. Again, is a much, much weaker system, and you can see Nicole there off to the southeast of Matthew. Monday will be sunny with a high close to 80, and for us, Tuesday stays the same, and Matthew makes its second hit on Florida is a tropical storm cutting across the southern tip of the state. Wednesday, it's down in the Gulf of Mexico, north of the western tip of Cuba, and again, we're dry. And this is a week from today, Thursday, October 13th. And again, that's not a pattern to bring us any cool air or rain. And sure enough, we're still dry. And Matthew is near the tip of Yucatan. And Nicole is still hanging around off the coast of Florida. This is the end of the forecast period. This is Saturday, October 15th. Got a ridge here and a dry air mass. And no discernible tropical systems, but understand there's no skill in identifying these things, really 5 days in advance. Here's the rain for the next 10 days, and that's not what we want to see, but it's sometimes is what you get in October. Nothing. We talked about this yesterday. November 1924 didn't have a drop of rain. The record for consecutive days with no rain in Birmingham is 52. I sure hope we don't go that far, but typically the rains do come back in November, December. That's our late fall severe weather season. Check the numbers. We cooled down a little bit, but not by much. Highs closer to 80 early in the week, and lows mostly in the 50s, but clearly the afternoon temperatures are above average. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this morning. We'll have notes in the blog. The next video here by 4 o'clock this afternoon. If you can't catch us this evening on the live stream or the television side, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.